Hello, class. My name is JTowle. Welcome to my introduction video. Apologize for the quality a little bit. This is a new computer I'm working with, so hope you bear with me. But I hope you enjoy my introduction video. I currently live in Charleston, West Virginia, and am enrolled in Concord University's Master's of Arts in Teaching program. And I'm taking this course this summer to better prepare me to become a teacher, as well as to get my certification and my license to teach social studies for grades 5 through adult, hopefully in high school or in middle school. I hope you enjoy this introduction video. There's going to be a little bit of some recycled footage. This isn't the first introduction video I've had to do. So on to where I work, where I teach. I hope you enjoy it.
Just for fun, it says, get a job.
I work here at the Clay Center for the Arts and Sciences at the box office. Say hi, everyone. Hello. Hello. I also work here at Jamie Dickinson's College Planning, Test Prep, and Education Consultant Firm. Here at Jamie Dickinson's is my classroom setting. In the spring, I tutor students on their AP tests for AP World History, U.S. History, Macro and Microeconomics, and U.S. Government.
Stand to think that way. Did you really think about it before you made the move?
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing where I work. I also orchestrate some of the field trips there at the Clay Center. So I also get a chance to do some of the programming, so it's very rewarding what I get to do there. It's mainly STEAM education oriented. Another thing that I didn't mention in there is that I also work or interned really at George Washington High School this past school year, but not this summer. That's mainly where I got my teacher mentor, and it's where I got a lot of my experience in. But something interesting about me, it's not too interesting really. I am from the state of Florida, or that's where I originally came from. It's where I was born and where I was raised. But before I moved up to West Virginia to be with my wife, I used to work at Universal Orlando Resort as a business analyst for them. For those of you who don't know, that's where the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is. It's a really fun place to work. It's a really great place to work. I worked there for about 5 years, and it was very rewarding. It was a lot of fun. But as fate would have it, my life brought me here, and decided to pursue my passion in teaching, which is really what my passion is, and I can't wait to get started, and I can't wait to get my own classroom. So, but yeah, on to the next portion of our introduction video. Hope you're enjoying it.
Line on the collar bar. That's just the way.
Well, this is a pretty loaded question. Asking me what I like to read is like asking me what my favorite candy is. I like reading both fiction and nonfiction. I have favorite authors all throughout the board. I love to read. When I was a kid, I hated reading, but it's not something I really developed until I got into college, and I had to read in order to make the grade. I'm going to mention a few texts here just that I recommend. One of my favorite fiction authors is Pat Conroy. This is just one of his books. It's called The Boo. It's about a drill sergeant and at the Citadel, which is a college my dad went to. And one of his best books, which I can't find right now, is called The Great Santini. He also wrote Lords of Discipline and The Prince of Tides, so he's a great author. I have to mention J.K. Rowling, of course, Harry Potter. I mean, it's Harry Potter, come on. I'll move on. Another one I want to mention is The Book Thief. It's a great read, I think, and I really, really enjoyed reading it. This is nonfiction. I'm going to move on to nonfiction, which is really what I always pick up whenever I go inside a bookstore. Usually I lean more towards nonfiction. I did get my Bachelor's of Arts in History at Florida State University in Tallahassee, And so whenever I wander into a bookstore or a library, that's usually where I'm going to lean towards a biography or a journal or something involving written in historical context. But I want to mention Band of Brothers. Before watching the series by Steven Spielberg, I highly recommend reading this first. It's very much a good read. I am in the middle of reading Gates of Fire right now, which is about the Battle of Thermopylae, but I'm going to kind of put that back on the shelf because class has started. I need to start reading those texts. There are a few. My senior thesis was on crimes against humanity and genocide. I know, wonderful. But I believe it's very important parts of history were wedged into that subject. And so I have a few texts here. Mainly, they're about the Holocaust. One is told through the perspective of the guards, the SS guards. It's called Ordinary Men. I remember writing a research paper on this, and the thesis title was Are These Ordinary Men? But it's a series of journals, real journals that were actually taken from them about what they would do, what their day-to-day lives were like. Another one is told through the perspective of the survivors, which is one of the most important. If you're going to study genocide or crimes against humanity, I'm going to point you towards this, or the Holocaust specifically. I'm going to point you to this book. It's called This Way to the Gas, Ladies and Gentlemen, and it gives accounts of survivors about what it took day to day, what they had to do to survive, and it's a very good read. Another one I'm going to mention is one of my old professors from FSU. Dr. Robert Galately wrote a book called Lenin, Stalin, and Hitler, The Age of Social Catastrophe. It's good for any age of ideologies class or subject-oriented towards ideologies, towards communism, fascism, pretty much what moved us forward in the early 20th century. And it's a really good read. Mainly goes through those three men's lives, what was going through their head. For any aspiring historian, I would always, well, this is a blank book, but Blood and Soil by Ben Kiernan is a great read. Mainly discusses about the mixture of economics and how that shifted forward throughout the human condition. It's really good reads, but those are my book selections that I just made for this video. I've got a throng of them downstairs, but that's what I like to read. I mainly like to read nonfiction, as I mentioned, and I really like to read biographies on accounts of people's lives. That's what I plan on teaching is social studies, and I love teaching it. I love reading about it, and I want to spread my knowledge and prepare kids for the next level and what they can expect at the next level when it comes to a social studies oriented class. So I hope that answered that question. But as I said, that's like asking me what my favorite movie is or my favorite candy is. So I could go on for hours, but we do have to move forward. So on to the next question. Well, I believe being a reading specialist is being a teacher, and that's who I want to be. I really want to teach how to read in nonfiction, and that's a big transition. Most kids, when they first start reading, they'll start reading fictional books, mainly storybooks, and then they'll move on to like novels. And I mean, that's how, just from my own experience, that's how I learned to read. And I remember attempting to read nonfiction as I got older, and it got difficult, extremely difficult. And I really would love to be involved in that process, that transitional process of how to read and write analytically in the historical context, because it's so much different. Reading fiction and nonfiction, two completely different things. And I love seeing magic happen when the aha moment suddenly goes on in a student's head, when the light clicks on and suddenly I get it. That's really why I want to be a teacher. And to be a teacher, you have to be a reading specialist. You have to not only know how to teach reading, but you have to know that reading is thinking. Students are thinking while they're reading. While you read, you are thinking, and that's all a part of the educational process, especially when it comes to teaching social studies, mathematics, sciences, anything. Um, but the reason why I want to be a reading specialist is because I want to be a teacher. That a reading specialist is a teacher, and a teacher is a reading specialist, and I really uh, believe that, and I really love seeing students learn and really trying to get them out of their comfort zones to realize, oh, I didn't know I could do that. They can do it, and it's something I very much want to be a part of. So I hope that answered that question. Um, I hope you enjoyed this introduction video. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I know it's a little bit long, but as I said, I can talk for hours about this stuff. I love teaching. It's like I said, one of my passions, what I want to do, and I very much looking forward to working with all of you. And once again, hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your summer.
I get so tired.